Hi students, in this video lecture we will do the MCQs for the chapter electromagnetic induction. Okay, so we were doing entrance corner 6.1, question number 4 we have done. So we will do question number 5 now. Okay, so entrance corner, okay, 6.1, question number 5. Okay, Faraday's law you need to remember, which says that if there is magnetic flux passing through a closed circuit, so if the lines of magnetic field are passing through a closed circuit, then you know that there will be magnetic flux linked with the circuit, be a cos theta, right? If the magnetic flux changes with time, then there will be a EMF induced. Okay, and according this is Faraday's law. Then Lenz's law says the polarity of the EMF is to induce current in such a way that it will oppose this change in magnetic flux. So whatever produce the EMF, whatever produce EMF means what? Who is producing this EMF? Change in flux, yes or no? If flux was constant, this EMF would be zero. So whatever is producing the change in flux, EMF will oppose that change in flux. Change in flux. Okay, so if flux is increasing, EMF will try to oppose that. If flux is decreasing, that also EMF will try to oppose. So try to remember that concept. So based on that, we have to do the problems. And then we learned that if a rod, straight conductor, is moving in a magnetic field, okay, such that velocity is perpendicular to the length, and the length and the velocity are perpendicular to magnetic field. So these three are mutually perpendicular. Then there will be EMF, potential difference, developed across the ends of the rod, and that is given by motional EMF. What EMF? Motional EMF, which is equal to BLV. Okay, now for entrance exam, one thing you try to remember, sometimes no, they will give you curved wires. So if this curved wire is moving with some velocity v in a magnetic field B, then what you have to do? Then you have to actually find EMF for small pieces, and then you have to integrate. That will take time. So the best way to remember is effective length from one end to the other end. You find the effective length. This is your effective length. Okay, so basically what I'm saying, if this is A, this is B, and if this kind of rod is moving in a magnetic field, then you can replace it by one straight rod from A to B. Okay, so the length should be used, this length should be used, L effective. So your EMF will be B L effective into V. Okay, fine students, so keep that in mind if they give you a curved rod. For example, if this is a semicircle whose radius is R, then what will be your L effective from here to here? 2R, right? Diameter it will be. So that way you can find the EMF for a curved rod. Now if it is like this, A is here, B is let's say here, and it is moving perpendicular to magnetic field, then your L effective will be this one from A to B, right? This one, right? So that again directly you cannot use because this L effective is not perpendicular to velocity. So you have to resolve this L into two components, one here, one here. Which one you have to use? This one you have to use. So this will be your L effective. So first find the L effective and then find the component of L effective. First find the L effective. L effective means from one end of the rod to the other end. Then you have to find, this is your L effective. Then you have to find component of this L effective perpendicular to the velocity. And that one you have to use in the formula for EMF. B L effective perpendicular component into velocity. Again, when I write perpendicular component, it means what? This should be perpendicular to velocity. Because when I write this formula, these three should be mutually perpendicular, right? If one of them is not perpendicular, you have to take the component which is perpendicular. What if there is no component only? For example, let us say this is my rod. Okay, this is my rod and it is moving this way. And this is magnetic field. So no doubt velocity is perpendicular to magnetic field. But if you try to find L effective, what will be your L effective? This will be your L effective. Now you can see this L effective is parallel to your velocity. Your L effective is parallel to velocity, which means there will be no component perpendicular to velocity. We know from vectors, if a vector is parallel to x-axis, it cannot have y component, correct or not? So this L effective will have no component perpendicular to velocity. In that case, EMF will be 0. So all these special cases you try to remember. Pause the video and write the notes. Okay. That is the advantage of recorded video. Correct na? Okay. So let us see now question number 5. But motional EMF is used when conductors are moving in magnetic field, remember. Question number 5. A conducting circular loop is placed in a uniform transverse magnetic field. Uniform, transverse, perpendicular. Okay. So there is a circular conducting loop. It is kept in a uniform transverse means perpendicular to the plane of the loop. So let us assume it is into the board. And what is the value they have given? 0.02 Tesla. Somehow they are changing the radius of the loop. The radius of the loop begins to decrease at a constant rate. So this radius, if I say is r, this radius starts decreasing, dr by dt, at a constant rate given by 10 to the power minus 3. Unit will be meter per second. Na? Meter, radius is meter, time is second. Why I put modulus? Because if radius is decreasing, actually this derivative should be negative. But here I am only interested in magnitude. So I will take modulus. Okay students? Find the induced EMF at the instant when the radius is 2 cm. So as the radius decreases, when the radius is 2 cm, what will be the EMF they are asking? So now think, why there is EMF induced here? Is it because magnetic field changing or area is changing? Area is changing, right? Okay. So EMF according to Faraday's law, what do we write? d phi by dt. Rate of change of magnetic flux, correct? Magnetic flux, how do we write? B into area. Area is pi r square. Cos theta, no need to write. Actual formula is BA cos theta. But B is perpendicular to the plane. Area vector is always perpendicular to the plane. So the angle between them can be taken 0 or 180. But since I want modulus, it doesn't matter. Cos 0 or cos 180 degree. Correct? Okay. So here remember in this formula who is changing radius. So B should come out. B is constant. Pi is constant. Differentiation of r square dt. So here chain rule we have to apply. I hope all of you know about this. So how to do this? 2r into dr by dt. Correct or not? This you must be knowing, right? This part. For example, if you want to find dy square by dx, directly formula we cannot apply. So what I do is I write dy square by dy into dy by dx. So this is like chain rule, right? If you cancel dy, you will get this only. So here you can apply the formula for differentiation. dy square by dy will be 2y into dy by dx. Same thing I have written, right? So what will be the value? B into pi. At what instant they want? When the radius is 2 centimeter. So 2 into 2, and dr by dt is 10 power minus 3. 10 power minus 3. Let me write here, okay? So EMF will be equal to B into pi into 2r. 2 into radius is 2 centimeter means 10 power minus 2 into dr by dt was given 10 power minus 3. So for B is given 0.02, right? So this space I can use, right? What is the use of this space? So EMF I can write. Let me calculate from here. 2 into 2 is 4. B was given 0.02, which I can write 2 into 10 power minus 2. Pi is there into 10 power minus 2, 10 power minus 3 will be 10 power minus 5. So 8 pi into 10 power minus 7 volt. So you can see options do not have pi. So what you can write this as approximately, no, pi I will write as 3. 10 power minus 7. So 8 3s are 24 into 10 power minus 7. So 2.4 into 10 power minus 6. 10 power minus 6 I can write microvolt. So this is 2.4 microvolt. Now I know the answer will be more than 2.4. Why? Because pi value is actually more than 3. So which is the closest answer? Slightly more than 2.4, 2.5 microvolt. So this way you can do find the answer little easier instead of writing 3.14. Okay. See question number 6. Three rings P, Q and R are dropped at the same time over identical hollow magnets as shown below. Which of the following describes the order in which the ring P, Q and R reach at the bottom of the magnet? So the at the bottom, so the magnet should have been little thinner, okay? So let's say this is one magnet, this is another magnet, and this is another magnet. This question came in the Olympiad exams, NTSC, okay? So south, 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 this is north, north, north. This is the bottom. Now here the magnet falling is a plastic ring, plastic. Here the magnet falling is a copper ring. And here also it is copper ring, but it is cut. So these two are copper. So now look carefully. Which will reach the bottom first? They are saying. So why it will not all of them will not reach together or what? So let us see what happens. As it is falling, as this loop is falling, the magnetic field lines will go like this. Here also, here also. So as the conductor is moving, the flux will change, because initially when the loop is here, the magnetic field is weak. When it is coming closer, magnetic field is increasing. Correct or not? So magnetic field is increasing as the loop falls, because the loop is moving in a non-uniform magnetic field. So here the magnetic field is weak, here it is strong. So the flux here will change, flux here will change, flux here will change. No doubt. Now here EMF will be induced, but will current will flow? No, current will not flow, because this is plastic. It is non-conductor. No free electrons for them to move in the wire. So here no current will be there. Here current will flow. And which way it will flow? It will flow in such a way that it will oppose the change in the flux. So as the loop is falling like this face will act like south, this face. This is north, no? So as the coil is falling, this face will act like north, so that this north will repel the north. Understood or not? So from the top, when I see, this face will act like south. So south means something like this, so current should flow this way. Understood? So current will flow this way. Here again current wants to flow, copper ring, but then this is cut here, so it's open circuit, so current here will be 0. So here there will be no current, so therefore this will not oppose this. Here there will be no current, so this will not oppose this. But here there is current, so this will oppose this one. So there will be a repulsive force. There will be a repulsive force on this copper ring. These two will not feel any repulsive force because there will be no current, so neither face will act like north pole or south pole. Therefore this is repelled, so this will feel gravity, of course, mg, this will feel mg, this will feel mg. Correct or not? So you can see the acceleration of this and this will be same. What is acceleration? Force divided by mass. So for this acceleration will be g, for this acceleration will be g, but for this acceleration will be less than g, for this acceleration will be g, acceleration will be g. So it is very clear that this will take more time to come. These two will take same time. So P, what were the names given? PQR. So P and R will reach together because they don't feel any repulsive force. This one will take more time. So Q will take more time. Which option? C. Rings P and R arrive simultaneously. Simultaneously means together, followed by Q. Followed by Q means after that Q will come. So Q will take more time because it is falling with less acceleration. Clear, no students? Okay. Question number 7 you see now. In question number 7, they are saying a rectangular loop and circular loop are moving out of a uniform magnetic field to a field-free region with a constant velocity v. So there is a magnetic field like this. There is a region containing magnetic field, and here there is no magnetic field. There is magnetic field, there is no magnetic field. So in this diagram, a rectangular loop is coming out, and here a circular loop is coming out with equal velocity, constant velocity. Okay. In which loop do you expect the induced EMF to be constant during the passage out of the field region? Only when it is coming out, remember, that time the flux will change. Correct or not? So there will be EMF induced in this one, not in this one, okay? In this one. Because this is out of the magnetic field. So there will be BLV, right? This will act like a battery, I have told. So EMF induced here will be BLV. EMF induced here will be depending on, let us say, the loop is, as it is coming out, let us say the loop looks like this. Then here, this L we have to use, right? Effective length I told. So this is your L effective. So B L effective into V. Understood or not? This part will be useless. So this part will be no EMF because it is out of the magnetic field. This part will be EMF will be there, motional EMF. So if I split this and this into two, like this and like this is out, this is in the magnetic field. So for this conducting semicircular loop, this will be the effective length. But please understand, in which case the EMF will change, they are asking. In which case the EMF will be changed or EMF will be constant. The field is normal to the loops. They are asking in which loop do you expect the induced EMF to be constant. So they want induced EMF to be constant. Now look here, velocity is constant, they told. velocity is constant for both the loops. B is constant, B is uniform. But here L, you can see when this part is going like this length will be constant, right? When this part is here, this is the L I have to use. When it reaches here, this is the L I have to use. So the L remains constant here. But here the L keeps on changing because after some time this loop will look like this. So that time your L effective will be this. Then after some time the loop will look like this. So this will be your L effective. L effective, okay? So the L effective is changing here. So since the L effective is changing here, here it is not changing. So here EMF will be constant, here EMF will change. So please try to remember that. Let us see question number 8 now. There are two coils A and B as shown in the figure. So they have shown two coils A and B. Okay. The current starts flowing in B as shown. They have shown this way. So this current starts flowing when A is moved towards B with some velocity, which they have not mentioned. But when this is moving this side, current here is uh, induced. So this is your induced current. What they have given you is the induced current. So when this is moving like this, current here is induced this way, anti-clockwise. Are you understanding? So we have to find, according to the question, we have to find current induced here will be what. Also they have mentioned when A is moved towards B in this part, and when A stops. So if A stops moving, if A stops, then in B there is no current. Induced current is 0. So the current here stops when A stops moving. Okay. So they are asking you to find it in which way the current is flowing here, they are asking. So they have given you the induced current. Understood or not? So if there was no current here, then if you move this, will the magnetic field here change if there was no current here? If there was no current here, then it will not produce magnetic field only. Correct? No. So if you move this one, it doesn't matter. If there is no current here, there is no magnetic field. If there is no magnetic field, even if this moves, the magnetic field will not change because there is no magnetic field. If there is no magnetic field, how will magnetic field change? How will flux change? So why will there be induced current? So it is very clear there has to be current here. But that current should be in which way they are asking. So let us assume this way. Let us say current here is this way. This is the best way to solve. Okay, assume it is this way. This is anti-clockwise. Now try to find the direction of induced current here, because we can find using Lenz's law direction of induced current. If it matches with this, then this is correct. If the induced current here does not match with this, then the answer will be opposite of this. That is the best way to do. Okay. So assume the current here is anti-clockwise or clockwise. For the start, you assume anyway. So let us say anti-clockwise. Now circular current, how they produce magnetic field? At the center they produce out, but we want here. So for that, no, you consider this part. This part, if you look carefully, looks like a straight line. This part. So magnetic field will be like this. Yes or no? So magnetic field here is going into the board. So this is the magnetic field produced by this current. Why I am not worried about this part? Because this part is nearer to the coil. So the magnetic field produced here will be controlled by this part. So magnetic field produced by this small part here will be like this, right? This part can be considered as straight, no? So hold the wire, thumb should be along the current. So magnetic field here will be like this. Now, when this is moving this side, when you move the loop towards B, then what will happen? This magnetic field will increase because the distance is becoming less. So the distance is becoming less. If this is coming nearer and nearer, this magnetic field will increase. So we have found that this magnetic field, right, this into magnetic field is increasing. So this flux will increase. To oppose this increasing flux, the current here should flow in such a way that it creates a magnetic field in this direction. To oppose this increasing, remember. So to oppose a vector which is increasing this way, we have to create another vector in this way. So the induced current should produce magnetic field in this direction, which will oppose this increasing magnetic field. Understood? So current should flow this way. So induced current must flow this way. Now check, is it matching with this? Yes, it is matching. So if it is matching with the given question, then this is correct. So current in A must be flowing anti-clockwise. Now whether this current should be constant or changing current, that will depend on this part. If this current here, we know current is flowing this way, right students? Now if the current was changing, then the magnetic field produced by this current will change. You don't have to change the distance. And if magnetic field changes, there will be induced current. But they told induced current is not there. That means the current here must be constant. So if the current here is constant, then if the wire is not moving towards or away, if the wire is stationary, and if the current is constant, then magnetic field produced here by this part, I'm interested only in this part, okay, because this part is nearer to this loop. Understood? So if this part carries constant current and it is not moving, then magnetic field here will not change with time. If magnetic field will not change with time, then induced current will be 0. So that is why they gave the second part also. So the answer is current must be constant. Otherwise, what will happen? If current was changing, then magnetic field here will also change. Right? You don't need to now move the move this coil. You don't need to move it because current is changing. Magnetic field will change with time. So if magnetic field will change with time, EMF will be produced in this loop, current will be produced. But they told current is not produced. Therefore, this current must be constant. Understood, students? Then this magnetic field will be also constant. Then there will be no current as mentioned in the question. So it is very important that if the current here is constant, then to change the magnetic field in this loop, you must move the magnet. Like here. If you move the magnet towards, then this magnetic field will increase. To oppose this increasing magnetic field, this induced current will try to create this magnetic field so that it opposes this increasing magnetic field. Okay, so try to analyze this question again, a very good question. Question number 9, you see, same as problem number 8, it should say, not 5. Same as problem number 8, except the coil A is made to rotate about a vertical axis. No current flows in B if A is at rest. So let me try to explain the question first, okay? So this is your coil A, this is your coil B. If this starts rotating this way, they are saying, if the coil rotates this way, then there is current here this way. Okay, then there is current here this way. That means this is your what current? Induced current. By the way, for previous question, what is the answer? Current should flow in this coil. It was this way, right? So it is counterclockwise and it should be constant. So option D for previous question. I forgot to tell the option. Option D, okay? Now, when this coil rotates, it is not moving towards or away. It is only rotating. Then, then they are saying the induced current here is flowing anti-clockwise as in the question. So in what way the current here is flowing, they are asking. Again they told, if this is at rest, if it is not rotating or moving, then the induced current in B is 0. Here induced current is 0, they have told. So now this time we are not moving this side or this side, so you may think magnetic field here will not change, but we be little careful. So what we will do first is to find the current flowing here. Let me first assume that there is current this way, and then I keep this coil, and then I check whether uh, magnetic flux here is increasing this way or increasing this way or decreasing this way or decreasing this way. Four options are there, right? Increasing this way, decreasing this way, increasing this way, decreasing this way. Depending on that, there will be some induced current here. So we will try to find the induced current here. Okay students, so look carefully. Now let us concentrate on the part which is nearer. So this part will create magnetic field into right now. Now, as it is rotating, this part will go that side, back side. So magnetic field here will decrease because this part is going farther from this loop. This part is going farther. Another way to understand is after 180-degree rotation, see what will happen. After 180-degree rotation, this part will come here. No, this part will come here. So current here will be like this, and this part will go here. So current here will be like this. So magnetic field in this loop will be which way? See, now this part is nearer. This is coming down. So you have to hold the wire like this. So current will be like this. So current here will be downward. So magnetic field will be like this. So magnetic field here will be out. So by rotating this, of course, the magnetic field here is changing because first it was into, then it will become out. Now if a vector is like this and then it becomes like this, then it means this vector should decrease, no? If this is, let's say, 10 Newton or 10 Tesla, if 10 Tesla is becoming minus 10 Tesla after some time, then it's very clear that 10 Tesla should become 9 Tesla, 8 Tesla, 7 Tesla, 6 Tesla, then 0. Then it should become minus 1, minus 2, minus 10 Tesla. So if this magnetic field is becoming this magnetic field, it is very clear that at this instant, when the loop is going this way, when you are rotating this loop like this, it is very clear that this magnetic field is decreasing, unlike the previous question. So we have found that magnetic field here is decreasing. Now, if magnetic field here produced by this current is decreasing, then to oppose this decrease, I should create magnetic field by the induced current in the same direction. Remember, help. So if magnetic field is decreasing this way, the current here should produce a magnetic field which will help this decreasing magnetic field. See, this arrow means it's decreasing. So to create this magnetic field, current should flow this way. Okay. The current should flow this way. Is it matching with this? It is not matching. It is not matching means this is wrong. So if this is wrong, which will be right? So that means the current in this coil must be flowing ulta. Ulta matlab this way. So this is clockwise or anti-clockwise? Clockwise. So this will be your right answer. That is the way you should solve the problem. Okay. So clockwise current will flow. And since when it is at rest, there is no induced current, it means that whatever current was here must be constant current. So that if the loop does not move at all, neither this side nor this side, or if it doesn't rotate also, if it rotates, then at least you know the magnetic field here will change. But if it is doing nothing, no rotation, no translation, then what will happen? The magnetic field produced by this here will be constant. And that is only possible if the current here is constant, not changing with time. So which is the right option? Constant current clockwise. Constant current clockwise. So option A. Okay, try to see again once if you have missed some point. Okay. 10th question, you see a metal plate is getting heated. A metal plate is getting heated. It can be because option A direct current is passing through the plate. If a direct current passes through the plate, direct current matlab a current which doesn't change direction. If direct current passing like the current produced by batteries, so if direct current is passing through the plate, then of course the plate will get heated because I square R, that much power will be consumed, right? So plate will get heated, so option A is correct. If it is placed in a time varying magnetic field, now you know that if the plate is kept in a magnetic field which is changing with time, then the flux will also change with time. It will create induced electric field. That induced electric field will create eddy currents. So therefore even in case B it will get heated. Option C, it is placed in a space varying magnetic field that does not change with time. Very interesting. So option C says this is a plate and we are keeping it in a magnetic field which is changing in space. Matlab here it is B1, here it is B2, here it is B3, maybe 10 Tesla, 1 Tesla, 3 Tesla. So it is changing, but it is changing in space. It is space varying. It is not changing with time. So if it does not change with time, then there will be no EMF, because for EMF the magnetic flux should change with what variable? Time variable. So if the magnetic flux is constant, here 10 Tesla, here 1 Tesla, here 3 Tesla, then for any loop if you imagine here, magnetic flux will be constant. So then there will be no EMF, no induced electric field. If there is no induced EMF or induced electric field, why will there be eddy currents? Next one, a constant either direct or alternating current is passed through the plate. A current either direct or alternating. Now, whether the current is direct or alternating current means where the current changes direction. For heat production, whether current flows this way or this way, it is not important, because the heat produced is given by what formula? I square RT. So it is I square. So whether current is plus I or minus I, it doesn't matter. Heat will be produced. So A is correct, B is correct, D also is correct. So whether the current is direct or alternating, heat will be produced. But if the magnetic field is changing with time, then flux will change with time, EMF will be produced in closed loop. Therefore, induced electric field will be produced, which will create eddy currents. But here there will be no eddy currents, because here magnetic field may be changing in space, but it is not changing in time. Last question. So what are the options correct? A is correct, B is correct, and D is correct. Question number 11 you see now. Find the current in the wire for the configuration shown in the figure. Wire PQ has negligible resistance. The magnetic field B is uniform and coming out of the paper. Theta is fixed angle made by PQ traveling smoothly over two conducting parallel rails separated by a distance D. Answers are in terms of D, remember. So these are two parallel rails. These are two parallel rails. There is a resistor R, and this distance between the rails is given as D. The distance between the rails is given as D. Now the rod is not kept this way. The rod is kept this way at angle theta, and it is moved with velocity v in a magnetic field B. So you can see velocity is perpendicular to magnetic field, right? Velocity is perpendicular to magnetic field. But this length is not perpendicular. So what I should do, I have told you already, if this is the length and it is moving this way, then you should take two components of this length vector. So imagine this is a vector and take two components, one here, one here. So which component I should use? I should use this component, right? So this is my your L effective, let me write. or L perpendicular. L perpendicular. This is L. So I should only use that length which is perpendicular. This is what is called. This length is also called projected length. Projected length perpendicular to velocity. But forget about those terminology. Just remember that if the length is not perpendicular to velocity, you have to find the component which is perpendicular to velocity. Now remember this angle is here, okay? So this is theta. So what will be L perpendicular? This is opposite side. So it will be L sine theta. This is hypotenuse, no? So what will be the EMF produced between this end and this end? Potential difference. It will be BLV. Right? But which L I should use? Perpendicular. So B, L perpendicular is L sine theta into V. Now, they want EMF or current. The main, okay, they have not mentioned. Find the current they are asking. So current will be what? EMF divided by resistance. EMF by resistance. So BLV sine theta divided by resistance. But options are in terms of this D. Well, if you look carefully, this D is this itself. Or you can try to see this D is given. This is also D, no? So you can see this D will be what? L sine theta. Right? This is hypotenuse, this is opposite side. So this L sine theta is nothing but D. So I can write I is equal to B dV by R. Matlab, in place of L sine theta, you can write D. See, if the option is in terms of length of this conductor, then this is the answer. But option is in terms of distance between the rails, this D. So we have to try to write this L, this D in terms of this L and substitute here. Okay. So students, will start with transfer material now. Question number 1. They have given you a straight current carrying wire in which the current is flowing into the plane of this paper. Okay, so the current carrying wire is straight and it is passing into. So don't think this cross represents magnetic field. Usually in this chapter we are using cross and dot for magnetic field. But here this cross represents current carrying wire and it means it is into the paper. Cross means it is into the paper. Then they are saying if this current decreases to 0, which way the induced current will flow here? Induced current, A to B or B to A. Now why will there be induced current? Only if there is a change in magnetic flux through these loops. Now why will the magnetic flux change? If the source of the magnetic field, which is this current, if that changes, which they have shown it is changing, right? Okay. So one thing is clear, that there will be induced current in these loops, and depending on the direction of that current, it may flow this way or this way. That we have to find. So let us first understand in which way this source current will produce magnetic field. It is into the paper. So if straight wire is into the paper, put your thumb like this, magnetic field will be like this, right? Like this. So magnetic field lines are like this. So magnetic field lines are like this, okay? So this is the way magnetic field lines are. Clear or not clear? Oh, since current is going into, it should be other way, right? It should be like this. So it should be this way. Like this, right? So here it will be like this. So this is your magnetic field produced by this current carrying wire. Okay, I hope it is clear. Current is directed into the page. So magnetic field must be like this, produced by this current carrying wire. Now, if magnetic field is going like this, and if this current is decreasing, then this magnetic field is also decreasing. So in these loops, this magnetic field in these loops, imagine these loops here. Either you can imagine this or this, but only one you can imagine, right? So if you imagine this, magnetic field lines are going like this. So let's say this is the loop. Magnetic field lines are going like this, okay, inside. And this magnetic field is decreasing. So to oppose decrease, we should produce magnetic field in the same direction. We have to help. So magnetic field produced by the induced current should be also this way. That means current should flow this way, right? In these loops. Understanding or not? So the induced current should produce magnetic field in the same direction as this one. Why? Because it is decreasing. So induced magnetic field must be in the same direction as B, which is due to current, the source current. This is your source current. Source current. Okay. So the induced magnetic field should be in the same direction, means this loops should contain current this way, right? So they should contain current this way. So if the current flows like this, you can see it will go like this, then come here, back side, and then it will go this way. And then it will go like this, then it will be this way, right? Here it will be this way, here it will be this way. So these induced currents, these are all induced currents. So if these induced currents will produce magnetic field which will support this magnetic field. Which magnetic field? Produced by the source current. Why we are supporting it? Because it is trying to decrease. So to oppose decrease, you have to support it. We have to help it. So current will flow from B to A. Wonderful question or not? So it will flow from B to A. Option B. Option B. Okay. Try to do some changes to this question and see what answer will come. Post to me directly in the WhatsApp, or you can send to me in WhatsApp, or you can post in Google Classroom. I will see whether it is correct or not. Okay, let us see question number 3 now. Question number 2, sorry. A conducting wire frame is placed in a magnetic field which is directed into the paper. So magnetic field is directed into the paper. It's a constant magnetic field, not changing with time. Okay. Or maybe it is changing, we have to see. The magnetic field is increasing there too. So it is increasing. So it's not a constant magnetic field in time, it is increasing in time. The direction of the induced current in the wire AB and CD. So the wire is given like this. So this is AB, this is CD. So which way? Okay, now look here. For this area and this area, let us try to see separately what is happening. For this area, this magnetic field is increasing. If it is increasing, to oppose this, the induced current should flow this way magnetic field. So induced current here should flow this way, right? Like this. Sorry. Like this, right? If it flows like this, then the induced magnetic field, like this, it's like a loop only, no? So this loop will produce this kind of magnetic field, which will oppose this increasing magnetic field. Okay, students? What about here? Here again in this part also, if you see, this magnetic field is increasing only. So to oppose that, induced current should flow this way. But if the wires are kept like this, because this is the same wire only, see like this. So current cannot flow in the same branch. In the same branch, current cannot flow this way also, this way also. So here we have some confusion. So what we have to do, we have to see which is the bigger area. So this is the bigger area. So if this is the bigger area, here more flux will change. So therefore more EMF will be induced here. See students, if we have two batteries like this, then this will drive current this way. This will drive current that way, depending on the polarity of the EMF. That doesn't mean current in the wire will go this way also, this way also. So it depends on which is the bigger EMF, right? If this EMF is bigger than this EMF, then the net current will flow this way. Net current will flow this way. So we have to check which is bigger area. This is bigger area. So So the direction of the induced current will be controlled by this EMF developed in the bigger area. Understood or not? So therefore, this way the current will flow. So here it should be this way, like this, and therefore here it has to go this way, and here it has to go this way. Okay, so always look at the bigger area, find the direction of induced current according to Lenz's law. Then for smaller area, no need to do, just follow this one. So for part AB, it goes from B to A. For this part, it goes from D to C. So B to A, D to C. B to A, D to C, option A. Now let us see question number 3. So in question number 3, consider the situation shown in the figure. If the current I in the long straight wire XY is increased at a steady rate, so there is a straight current carrying wire which is increasing that one. Then they are asking the induced EMFs in the loop A and B. So here there is one loop A, here there is one loop B. So which way the induced EMF will be in these two loops, clockwise or anti-clockwise, they are asking. Simple. This straight current carrying wire this is the source current, no, source current. So this will produce magnetic field like this. So here it will be into and here it will be out. Agree or not? So these are the magnetic fields produced by the source current. Now, if this current is increasing, so that means this magnetic field is increasing, this magnetic field is also increasing. Here in, here out. So if this magnetic field is increasing, to oppose that, the induced current should produce this magnetic field. So induced current here should be this way. So here it is clockwise or anti-clockwise. This is anti-clockwise. Right? Here, this magnetic field, in this problem, please understand, this magnetic field was increasing. So to oppose this, induced current should produce this magnetic field. Here, this magnetic field is, this magnetic field, this is out, no? So this magnetic field is increasing. To oppose this, induced current should produce this magnetic field. So current should be this way, induced current, or you can say induced EMF. So this is clockwise or anti-clockwise? This is clockwise. Okay, so always see what happens, where is the source current, then find the magnetic field due to source current by using right hand thumb rule if the wire is straight. Then check whether the magnetic field here or here is increasing or decreasing depending on the question. Then use Lenz's law, which says the direction of induced current will be always to oppose the change in the magnetic flux. So here in B it is anti-clockwise, in A it is clockwise. Clockwise in A, anti-clockwise in B. So option A. Question number 4 you see now. A metal sheet is placed in a variable magnetic field which is increasing from 0 to maximum. Induced current flows in the OC. Here they have given you induced current. So sometimes they give you induced current while doing some NCERT exemplar question in the previous section. I have done problems where they gave you induced current direction. And we were supposed to find the current flow in the source current we were supposed to find the direction of the source current which produces the magnetic field, which, and if the source current changes in some way by bringing this one nearer or farther, if you bring this nearer, then the current may not change, but the magnetic field produced by this current here, that magnetic field will change, right, if you move this towards or away. So that way we have done. So this is similar. Here induced current is given. So induced current flows in the direction as shown in the figure. They are asking the direction of magnetic field will be where. So this is your metal sheet. Here is east, here is west, here is north, here is south. Now they have shown you induced currents. These are your eddy currents basically. It's metal sheet, no? So these are your induced current. Induced current. So, and they remember they told the magnetic field is increasing from 0 to maximum. Whatever magnetic field is applied is increasing from 0 to maximum. So which way we should apply, they are saying. One thing is very clear, it cannot be in this plane and in this plane. It has to be perpendicular to this plane. Then only flux will change. No, if this is the area, lines of magnetic field should pass through the area, not parallel to the plane. If it is parallel, then area vector will be perpendicular. So flux contains cos theta between area vector and magnetic field. Then flux will be 0. If flux is 0 all the time, then it means your EMF will not be induced. So the magnetic field cannot be here or here. Then it will be parallel to the plane. It has to be perpendicular to these areas. So it is very clear, it will be either in or it will be out. If it is in, it is towards the ground. Because if this is east, this is west, this is north, this is south, this is ground. This plane is ground. So it should be either towards the ground or it will be towards the sky. So what we will do, we will assume one and then see whether we get the right answer or not. Okay. So what I will do, I will assume magnetic field is applied into the paper. Now in the question what they told, magnetic field is increasing from 0 to maximum. So if magnetic field is increasing, if this magnetic field is increasing, to oppose this, induced current should flow, this induced current should produce this magnetic field. So induced current should flow this way. Understood or not? So I assume magnetic field is into the board. Then in the question they told magnetic field is increasing. So this magnetic field is increasing. So to oppose this, I should create induced current this way so that it creates another magnetic field which will oppose this increasing magnetic field. Understood? So induced current should flow this way. Now check whether it is matching or not matching. It is not matching. Not matching. So if it is not matching, then it means magnetic field must be applied out of the board. Out of the board means towards the sky. So it will be vertically towards the sky means what? Vertically up. So it must be vertically up. Option B, normal to the paper outwards. Normal to the paper outwards. Okay. So this will be the right answer. This is wrong because this is wrong. This direction is wrong because our induced current is not matching with the question. Now for this you can check yourself. If it is out and if it is increasing, to oppose this I need to create this magnetic field. So induced current here must flow this way, which is matching with this one, right? Okay. So whenever they give you induced current and they ask you the source current or the source magnetic field like here, you first assume certain direction for the answer and then check whether the induced current is matching with the given question or not. Fifth question already we have discussed. A copper ring having a cut. It has a cut, remember, such as not to form a complete loop. Because there is a cut, it won't be a complete loop. Is held horizontally and a bar magnet is dropped through the ring. So if this is your ring, there is a cut and a bar magnet is dropped horizontally. Oh, sorry, vertically. So they are asking, then acceleration of the falling magnet. The acceleration of the falling magnet will be g less than g more than g equal to 0. Now please understand. See, there is a cut. Though flux is changing through this area, through this imaginary area, there will not be any induced current because there is a cut. So induced current will be 0. So if induced current itself is 0, then neither this, if it was closed, students, if it was closed, then this phase will act like north. Why? Because it will oppose this magnet which is coming, whose north is coming towards the coil. So if it will oppose, then its acceleration will be less than g, we have seen already. But here there will be no induced current, so this phase will not act like north pole or south pole, so it will not repel this, so no repulsion, so acceleration will be same as due to gravity. Okay, if it was closed and this knot of the magnet was falling like this, okay, then the current here will flow in such a way that this phase will act like north, so current will flow this way. Understood? And this knot will repel this knot. So besides gravity, there will be this force due to this current, and therefore the acceleration will be less than g. So you may have seen some experiments where they take one plastic hollow cylinder, plastic, and then in one case they take copper conducting hollow cylinder. Then they drop magnet from here, they drop magnet from here. In this case, there will not be any induced current because this is insulator. Here, because of the change in the magnetic flux, induced current will be there. So that induced current, according to Faraday's law, will oppose this. This will not be opposed because there is no induced current here. Understood or not? So therefore, this will fall with acceleration g. This will fall with less than g acceleration. So this will take more time to come. This will take no time to come. Very quickly it will come. I mean, it will take time, but it will take very quick. It will be faster than this one. So usually, people will make such tubes and they will cover it with some paper so that they both look same. And from the top, they will drop a magnet, and they will find that one magnet comes out very quickly. Another magnet is taking so much time. And if the tube is really long, it really takes a lot of time to come. So people will think, "Arey, what happened to that magnet or something?" So it looks like a magic show. Okay. Okay. Let us see the next question. Two identical circular loops of metal wire are lying on a table without touching each other. Loop A carries a current which increases with time. In response, the loop B remains stationary, is attracted by loop A, is repelled by loop A. We have to check. So let us say this is your table. This is your table. So you have to imagine it horizontal like this, and two loops are kept on the table. On the table, A and B. Now one of them carries current. Which one? Loop A carries current. Which way they have not told. So let us assume any way. Let's say this way. Current in A. So this is your source current now. So they are increasing the current. Loop A carries a current which increases with time. So this is increasing with time. Okay. Now I know circular loops will produce here at the center. Magnetic field will be like this. But that side magnetic field lines are like this. No, here it will be straight. Here it will be like this. Here it will be like this, right? If you remember magnetic field due to circular wire. Here it is straight. If the current is like this, the magnetic field will be straight here. We have found using Biot-Savart's law also. But as you go away from this center, it will look like this. Okay, like this. So because this part, see this part, you can think as straight, and this is nearer to this loop. So forget about other parts. This will control the magnetic field here, right? Because this is nearer to this loop. So magnetic field current is going this way. So magnetic field will be into the board. This is the magnetic field produced by A, source magnetic field. This current is increasing, so this magnetic field will increase. So to oppose this increasing magnetic field, induced current should produce this magnetic field. Correct? No? So it should flow this way. So induced current should flow this way. This is the current in B, which is your induced current. So now if you see, it looks like this. Here current is going this way, here current is coming this way. Right, students? Okay. Now look, this is induced current which is due to change in current here, remember. So the moment the current here increases, magnetic flux here will change. There will be induced current in this loop because of the induced EMF. Now see here, these two are nearby, no? So these two will control what will happen to the loops. These two are nearby. So look carefully, the currents are in the same direction or opposite direction? Opposite direction. Unlike currents attract or repel. Unlike charges attract. So unlike currents will repel, so they will be repelled. So they will be repelled. Okay, so B will be repelled by A. Option C. Please remember, unlike currents repel. Unlike currents means currents flowing in opposite direction. So many nice questions can be done, right, using this induced current. Okay. Seventh question, you see. As shown in the figure, P and Q are two coaxial conducting loops separated by some distance. So let me try to show the diagram. This is P, this is the front one, this is the back part. So let me do like this, dot dot for the back part. Okay, so this is the back part, this is the front one. This is the front one, and this is the back part. And observer is looking from here. Now there is a battery here. Okay, now listen carefully. As shown in the figure, P and Q are two coaxial conducting loops. Coaxial means they have same axis. When the switch S is closed, a current IP flows in P. Of course, when the switch is closed, current IP will flow because battery is there. Flows in and an induced current IQ. There will be some induced current here, IQ they are saying, flows in Q. The switch remains closed for a long time. When S is opened, a current flows in Q. Then the directions as seen by E are, once it is opened, I think. Okay, so once it is opened. So when it is closed, let us find the current. When it is closed, so when key is closed, this was the key. When it is closed, current will flow from plus of the battery like this. So when you see from here, current will be this way. Okay, this is clockwise or anti-clockwise. This is clockwise, right? So that when you see from here, current will be clockwise. So IP is clockwise. Again, whenever you say clockwise, anti-clockwise, it has to be with respect to observer, because I have told you in class, for me this may be anti-clockwise, for you it is clockwise. See once. Okay. Okay, now when it was open, there was no magnetic field here. The moment you close, there is current here, so there will be magnetic field like this, right? And this is along the axis only, no? So magnetic field will be like this. This is the magnetic field produced by P. Okay, and since it is closed, current will increase from 0 to something. So if current will increase from 0 to something, magnetic field will also increase because of this current, because there was no magnetic field before when this was open. The moment it is closed, current will flow this way, so magnetic field will be this way, and it will be increasing. So to oppose this increasing magnetic field, current here should flow this way, so it should be this way. So this is your induced current. In which way it is, clockwise or anti-clockwise? Check quickly, it is anti-clockwise. So IQ will be anti-clockwise when the key is closed, just after key is closed. Okay, now when the key remains closed for a long time, this is the first part of the problem. Second part, let me discuss here. This space we hardly use, right? So in the second part, when key is closed for a long time, is closed for a long time. So if the key remains closed for a long time, current here will be like this only, from plus to minus. So IP will be same. Same means clockwise. But listen carefully. IQ, once you wait for some time, then current here, because it's battery, current will be constant current. So IP will be constant after some time. Only when you just close, that time from 0 to some value it is increasing. No, when it is just closed. After closing, if you wait for just 1 second also, the current here will become constant. So because it is battery. So since current is constant, magnetic field will be also constant. So the magnetic flux here will be constant. So no EMF. So no EMF will be induced in Q. No EMF will be induced in Q. Therefore, IQ will be 0. But they told in the question actually when key is opened. So when the key is opened, this current will be clockwise. Where it will be clockwise, but it will decrease very quickly. It will decrease very quickly. Sharply it will decrease to 0. Because the moment the key is open, the current has to become 0, right? So from 10 ampere, very quickly it will become 0. But this way only it will decrease. So now this is decreasing. Okay, when it's open. So when this is decreasing, this field will be decreasing. To oppose this decreasing field, you have to help or oppose. I mean, you have to help it or fight with it. You have to help it because it is decreasing. So you have to help. To help means to produce magnetic field in the same direction. So current here should flow this way, so that it will create magnetic field in the same direction. So when you see from here, it will be clockwise. It will be clockwise. Okay. So when it is open, this is the answer. So respectively anti-clockwise and clockwise. So when it is initially, okay, they are asking when S is open, a constant current in Q, a current flows in Q, then the directions as seen by E are respectively clockwise and anti-clockwise. So they are asking here, not very clear what they are asking, but you just mention it. They are asking current in Q, induced current they are asking in the first case when it was closed and when it is open. So it was, this was anti-clockwise before when it was closed, remember. It was anti-clockwise, now it is clockwise. So it is anti-clockwise and clockwise respectively. So option D. Option D. Okay. Then the directions only they told, directions of what, that they have not very clearly mentioned. So just mention directions of IQ in both cases, when it was closed and when it was opened. Okay, question number 8, let us see now. The figure shows certain wire segments joined together to form a coplanar loop. The loop is placed in a perpendicular magnetic field in the direction going into the plane of paper. So magnetic field is into the plane of paper everywhere, okay? The magnitude of the field increases with time. The current I1 and I2 are the currents in the segments AB and CD. So let me draw the segment, the wire loop. It's like this, but it comes like this again. Something like this it is. Okay, and here it is AB, here it is BC. Okay, now try to observe carefully. This magnetic field is everywhere, so here also magnetic field is there. Now this is the area you have to concentrate. Okay, this is the loop you have to concentrate, not this part, because this is the closed loop, right? This is like a loop only. So this magnetic field is increasing. So to oppose this, I should create this magnetic field. Yes or no? Now bigger one will decide or smaller one? Bigger one will decide. So the current will go this way. So here it should be this way. Right? This magnetic field is increasing. To oppose this, induced current should produce this magnetic field. But you cannot say here also this way, here also this way. Because that way, see what will happen. This will come like this, and here it will go like that. Right? See, this current will come like this, and here it will go like that. That is not possible, right? In a given branch, current should be either here or here. So who will decide? The bigger one. So the bigger one will decide. Already I have explained, right? So the bigger one will decide. Current will come like this, go like this, go like this. So in part AB, it goes from A to B. In part CD, it goes from D to C. So A to B, D to C. Which option? Option D. I1 is from A to B. This is I1 detour. This is I2. I1 is from A to B and I2 is from D to C. It has to be same. How it can be different? Because it is series only. No, see, same current has to flow. There is no junction anywhere for current to divide. So I1 has to be same as I2. So you cannot say one is greater than the other. Question number 9 you see now. Okay, in question number 9, next question, they have given you a solenoid, a coil. They did not say solenoid, just a coil. No current here, students. But there is a short magnet which is moved along its axis with constant velocity. How will the EMF here change with time, they are asking. EMF produced in this coil. EMF produced in this coil, how it will change with time, they are asking. So how it will change? Now you look here. As if the knot is here, magnetic field lines along the axis will look like this. This is the magnetic field by the source magnet now. Because magnetic field can be produced by magnets also, current carrying wires also. So as this magnet comes closer, this magnetic field will increase. So induced magnetic field produced by induced current should be this way. So the current should flow this way. Right? So that this will create a magnetic field this way. So initially as the magnet is coming this way, the currents will flow everywhere. Okay, like this. So for creating current like this, induced EMF should be this way, right? Everywhere. Understood or not? Okay. Then when the magnet is, as it is moving, as it is going out, let's say, as the magnet is going out, then what will happen? Since this is south, magnetic field will be this way only, right? Magnetic field is from north to south, no, like this. So along the axis, it will be like this. But now your magnet is going away. So this magnetic field will decrease. So this magnetic field is decreasing. To oppose that, I need to create magnetic field in the same direction. Induced magnetic field should be in the same direction to oppose the decreasing magnetic field. So if something is decreasing, to oppose that, you have to help. So you have to create magnetic field in the same direction. So current should now flow this way. Okay, this is back side, no? This is back side, this is front side, like this. So you can see from here to here, the EMF has changed direction. So if this EMF, if I take positive, this EMF will be negative. Because the direction of induced current, if it was a closed circuit, the direction of induced current has to be opposite to this one compared to this one. Yes or no? See, here is like this, here it is like this. So if this EMF is positive, this EMF has to be negative. Similarly, if this EMF is negative, this EMF has to be positive. Now from Faraday's law, exactly if you want, you have to follow Faraday's law with Lenz's law. E equal to minus d phi b by dt. When it is coming nearer, this is positive. Because as it is coming nearer, this y coordinate will increase with x coordinate. So dy by dx should be positive. So this is minus. So EMF here will be negative. Exact sign if you want according to Faraday's law combined with Lenz's law. But here it will be positive because here when the magnet is going away, this quantity will be negative. Right? dB by dt here will be negative. So from negative value, it has to go to positive value. So now check, is there any graph which goes like that? Option A, so it is positive all the time because the whole graph is drawn in the first quadrant. So y coordinate is positive throughout the time. Second graph you see negative and then it becomes positive. So second one has to be the right one. So graph B has to be the right one. Okay. 10th question we have discussed in the class. A field line is shown in the figure. If you look at the field line, it is closed loop. If it is closed loop, then they are asking the field line cannot represent. It cannot represent magnetostatic field. No, magnetostatic field means magnetic field produced by static magnets. So you know magnetic field lines are closed. So this can be option A, can be magnetic field lines, can be closed loop. Option B, electrostatic field. It cannot be electrostatic field. So it cannot be electrostatic field. Induced electric field. Induced electric field also can be closed loop. So C we cannot tick. Gravitational field, just like electrostatic field, gravitational field is also conservative. So it also has to be open. It cannot be closed loop. So B and D. So closed loops cannot represent, cannot represent electrostatic field lines and gravitational field lines. Okay, since they are conservative in nature. Okay, in question number 11, they have two horizontal rails like this, and there is a rod which can move on the rails. This is the rod PQ, which can move in the on the rails. This is the velocity, and they have connected these two rails through a galvanometer to each other, and there is a key which can be closed if you want. And here magnets are kept, permanent magnets, producing magnetic field from north to south. Okay, students. So magnetic field is here, velocity is here, rod is kept like this. So they are mutually perpendicular, right? You can agree. Velocity is here, magnetic field is here, rod is here. So they are mutually perpendicular. So as the rod moves, will there be EMF? Yes, motional EMF will be there. So motional EMF will be there. How much? VLB. It won't be zero. Okay. Now let us see what the question is asking. With key K open, with this key K open, which of the following statements is or are true? First statement is there is a net force on the electrons. Well, EMF is there. Will current be there if the key is open? No, current will not be there since key is open. Because open keys means there will be infinite resistance by the air. Will be air here, no? So you need closed circuit for current to flow. So EMF is there obviously. This rod will act like a battery, I have told already many times. But current will be zero because key is open. So if current is zero, what will be magnetic force on this rod? Magnetic force will be what? ILB. So that will be zero. So magnetic force on the rod will be zero, and these electrons also are in equilibrium. I told, if you remember, electrostatic force QE will balance the magnetic force QVB once the separation of electrons happens in this rod, right? I've told you before, if this is the rod, if it is moving like this in magnetic field like this, the positive charges here will feel force this side, which means electrons will feel force this side, minus here plus here. So the positive charges will feel force QVB this way, and this plus minus will create electric field that will be down. And then electrostatic force, this is electrostatic because these charges are static charges developed at the ends of the rod. So that electrostatic force will balance the magnetic force. So the electrons inside will not feel any net force. Even the rod will not feel any magnetic force. Option B, there is no net force on the electrons in the rod. Option B is correct. There is no net force on the electrons. Option C, there is an excess charge built up at the ends of the rod. Yes, because there is EMF and you know the separation of the charge happens. this end will be positive, this end will be negative. So there will be excess charge developed on the ends of the rod. That is why we say the moving rod in a magnetic field acts like a battery whose EMF is BLV. So C is also correct. That means option D we have to tick, because option D says both B and C are correct. So up to now, most of the problems which we have done are all based on Lenz's law. All are conceptual questions. So many questions I have done, almost all varieties I have done. So please remember each one of them nicely and try to do some variations and think what would happen if some changes are done in the given question. For 12th question, I want to do one very important concept, so look carefully. Think there is a closed circuit and magnetic flux is changing through the circuit. So if this is the loop and I apply magnetic field this way, then you know flux will be there. Now if this magnetic field changes or somehow this area changes, then you know magnetic flux will change. By the way students, if the loop is like this and I keep magnetic field like this, then will the flux be there? No, because area vector will be here. If area vector is here, magnetic field is here, flux will be 0, because flux contains cos theta between magnetic field and area vector. Here area vector and magnetic field are in same direction, so flux will be there here. Here there will be no flux only. So if you change the magnetic field, only the magnitude if you change, then clearly the flux here will not change, but flux here will change. So imagine a closed circuit in which magnetic flux is changing. So if magnetic flux changes through a closed circuit, then EMF will be developed. What will be the magnitude of the EMF? d phi by dt. Right? Now what will be the current? EMF divided by resistance. So d phi by dt divided by R. Let me cross multiply current into dt equal to d phi b by R. Right? I have cross multiplied dt here. Now let me integrate from t1 to t2. Now at time t1, let us say the flux was phi 1. The magnetic flux through the circuit was phi 1, initial magnetic flux. At time t2, magnetic flux is phi 2. Then this is what now? Think carefully. This is current, this is dt. Now you know that current, instantaneous current is what? dq by dt. dt cancels. So this represents the total charge that has flown from t1 to t2, because integration of dq will give you total charge. So this is the total charge that flows through the circuit in interval t1 to t2. And here R is constant, you can take 1 by R outside. Integration of d flux will be total flux. Put upper limit and lower limit. You will get phi 2 minus phi 1. So one very important concept is, when flux changes through a closed circuit, when flux changes through a closed circuit, the amount of charge flown, the amount of charge flown, the amount of charge flown is given by change in flux divided by resistance, or you can write delta phi by R. So try to remember this shortcut formula, very useful, because every time you can't do this derivation, right? So this is the charge which flows whenever this current, charge is flowing, right? So when induced current is there, how much charge flows? That if they ask, find the change in flux, divide by the resistance. So let us now see question number 12, which is based on this concept. A coil having 100 turns and area 0.001 meter square is free to rotate about an axis. The coil is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field of 1 Weber per meter square, matlab 1 Tesla. If the coil rotates rapidly through an angle of 180 degree, then the charge flown through the coil, charge flown they are asking, resistance they have given 10 ohm. Charge they are asking, due to the induced current, how much charge will flow. first we have to check whether flux is changing or not. Of course the flux is changing. If this is the coil, what they told, magnetic field is perpendicular to the coil. This is uniform magnetic field. So right now let us say area vector is here. When you rotate it by 180 degree, okay, so that the area vector will be here now. Nothing has changed, only the area vector has changed. So by 180 degree if you rotate, then what is the initial flux? B into A. What is the final flux? Minus B into A. Because this is cos 180, this is cos 0. So change in the flux will be what in magnitude? 2BA. Right? This minus this, or you can say final minus initial. So minus BA minus 2BA. Only magnitude we want, so 2BA. So this is the change in flux. So the amount of charge that flows. No need to divide by time interval or something. To find the change in, to find the amount of charge that flows, what you have to do? Divide the change in flux by the resistance. So it will be 2BA by R. Okay, so let us calculate how much it is. 2 is 2. Magnetic field is 1 Tesla. Area is, oh, I forgot to write number of turns. So this will be NBA. So that happens sometimes, okay students? If you forget the number of turns, you will get wrong answer. Number of turns. Number of turns is how much? 100. Magnetic field is 1. Area is given 0.001. So I can write 10 power minus 3. Right? 0.001. Resistance is given 10. 1 0 will cancel here. So that will be 20 into 10 power minus 3 coulomb. So 20 millicoulomb you can write, or you can write 2 into 10 power minus 2, so 0.02 coulomb. 0.02 coulomb. Okay, which option it will be? Option B. Based on same formula, that charge flown due to induced current is change in magnetic flux divided by resistance. Based on same formula, let us see question number 15 also. Other questions we will do from tomorrow. This is the last question I want to do. Why I am doing it now? Oh no, 15 is not based on this. So I will try to create one problem myself. Okay. So this is the last problem. Remaining questions we will do in the regular class, Monday. So look here. Next time. So suppose they say this is current and this is time. This is induced current, okay? And the graph looks like this. And they are asking you to calculate if resistance, this is let's say 10, this is let's say 10 ampere, this is 0, 2 seconds, 4 seconds, and resistance of the circuit in which this induced current is flowing, that is let's say 10 ohm. Then find the change in flux, magnetic flux. Okay, now you can think change in magnetic flux. We don't know initial magnetic field, initial area, no magnetic field. So how to do this problem? See, look carefully. From this graph, this is current versus time graph. Now what was charge? Induced current is flowing up to 4 seconds only, right? According to this graph, induced current is flowing up to 4 seconds. So how to find charge if current time graph is given? Just now I told charge is current dt, right? Current dt, integration of current dt. So that means this is area under current time graph. Right, sir has already explained to you integral of y dx represents area under yx graph. So this is area under this it graph. So that area we can easily find half. This is triangle. So half into base is 4 into height is 10 ampere. So this is 20 coulomb. This is huge charge. So 20 coulomb is the charge. Resistance is given. What is the formula for charge flowing due to change in flux? Change in magnetic flux divided by resistance. So if you cross multiply, change in magnetic flux will be charge into resistance. Charge is 20, resistance is 10, so this is 200. And since it is magnetic flux, unit is Weber. Either you can say Weber or you can write Tesla meter square. Okay, remaining questions we will do in the regular class. Thank you.